Hey everybody, thank you for joining us live here from the beautiful Wilson Center in Wilmington, North Carolina. My name is Erin Sullivan. I am the hospice coordinator here at Wilson Center, and it is super exciting and such a pleasure to be here this afternoon. We're just kind of waiting on standby as we're going to be joined by Kaelee Albritton, who's going to be playing Amber in the National Tour of Hairspray that is coming to the Wilson Center this weekend. We are so excited to have them. This is such an incredible show, such a fun show. And for all of you joining in, say hi. We'll absolutely be taking questions from everybody and really appreciate you joining in. So just staying tight, holding tight until hopefully Kaelee joins us. I'm not even quite sure where they are. They're traveling down here to Wilmington because they get here, I believe, tomorrow night. Their shows are Saturday evening at 7:30, and then there's two shows on Sunday at 2 and 7:30 as well. So if you are in the Wilmington area, make sure you get your tickets for sure. All right. Standing by. And again, make sure that you come out and see us here at the Wilson Center. Check us out. We have a lot of other Broadway shows coming up in our season. There we have in the Broadway series, we also are going to be having Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as well as South Pacific. And Summer, the Donna Summer musical is going to finish out our Broadway series in June. A little bit about me. I'm new to the Wilson Center. I'm very happy to be here. I grew up in Wilmington performing on the stages of Thalian Hall and pretty much anywhere that would have me. And I moved to New York right out of art school. I was a professional actor for 30 years and I still dabble and stay in the arts community. So I'm really super thrilled to be back here and brought back to the hometown, and being a part of the Wilson Center staff is kind of an amazing amalgamation of all of my touring experience, because I toured for a really long time, which you'll hear a little bit about in a second, and getting to be in the hospitality industry and being part of this incredible theater is super, super fun job. So, all right, I think maybe working with Katie, who is our communications manager, who's amazing. We're trying to get our Amber Von Tussle on the line. So thank you so much for your patience. Hi, everybody. All right, standing by. Has anybody who's joined us, have you guys seen any shows at the Wilson Center? Feel free to put any of your comments or your thoughts in. Performance Club Kids, hi, thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, Wilson Center.
Hi!
Hi!
How are you? Sorry for the delay. Some technical difficulties on our end.
No, all right, everybody, we're just kind of get everybody acclimated, and I was just rambling on about all the upcoming shows here at the Wilson Center. Kaelee, it's nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you, Erin. I feel like it's a long time coming.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So where are you right now?
I am currently in Columbus, Georgia. We're doing 2 shows here. So we did one last night and we're doing one tonight.
Excellent. And then you guys are hitting the road and you're coming up to Wilmington tomorrow.
So tomorrow we're actually going to be in Augusta, Georgia, and then on Saturday coming to you guys.
Driving right in.
Yeah.
And you check in and then you like drop off the bag.
Exactly.
Dinner and head to the theater.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. So Kaelee, I'm just going to, for everybody who's kind of joining in, Kaelee plays Amber in the National Tour of Hairspray that is coming to the Wilson Center this weekend. The show will be Saturday night at 7:30 and 2 shows on Sunday at 2 o'clock and 7:30 as well. Yes. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day. I love your
happy St. Patrick's Day. We're repping the greenest of your pen.
I got mine. I also did a shout out here. This is my Amber Von Tussle.
Oh, so cute. That's so fun.
Just a couple of fun questions. Some fun facts kind of to why we're doing this as well. To those of you who joined us, I actually played Amber on the National Tour of Hairspray a long time. I was this exact role from 2007 to 2010. So it is so wild that like I closed the tour and you've opened this whole new generation.
Right.
It's like passing the torch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super fun for me, and it's going to be it's honestly going to be super emotional, to be honest, because for me, and I'm sure you feel it, this is such an amazing point happening in your life.
Absolutely.
It's a changing show. It's a life-changing experience. So I totally treasure your moments you're going through right now, and I'm going to be like an emotional disaster all weekend. I'll probably be doing
I'm so excited to bring it to you. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna know all the choreography, the moves, and everything.
Kick me out backstage, like it's I'll be like, I work here.
Right.
So, a little bit, let's get to know you a little bit. What's your background? When did you start doing theater? Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Totally. Well, I grew up dancing whenever I was younger. My mom and my grandma were dancers, so they always had me like in the studio and all that. But my grandma loved theater, and so she would always bring me and my mom, drag us over, and I loved it for so long before I actually started doing it. And I was a sports kid growing up, so I played sports, I danced, and then I used to sing all the time around the house and like choreograph concerts by myself in my own little corner of my room and do all that kind of stuff. But it didn't start clicking all together, like doing acting, singing, dancing all together until middle school, whenever I did Beauty and the Beast for the first time. And then I caught the bug. And then I really realized that I wanted to do this for a long period of time whenever I did Hairspray, whenever I was a sophomore in high school, and I was Amber then. So this is my first time repeating a role for a second time.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is not out of the gate for you. It's not new. You're seasoned, Amber.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It's wild doing it at 25 years old as opposed to 16, which is the actual age of Amber. Yeah, right. So it's really cool being able to revisit the work and on a whole new like spectrum and in a whole different culture that we're living in as well. So it's just been a wild ride. And then once I graduated high school, I went to school at the University of Mississippi. And after I graduated there, I live in Brooklyn, New York. And now I'm living out of a couple suitcases and a bus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I was Amber, I was actually the oldest. I was 27. And,
nice.
Yeah, we joked because Matt Regis, who was my link, was turning 30, and so all the rest of the nicest kids were in their early 20s. So they called us the oldest kids in town. And my Velma was younger than me. She was 25.
Oh my God.
Mom, she's like, I'm younger than you.
Let's keep it correct.
Oh yeah, I was like the oldest kid in town.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's so funny, like where you are in your life now, parallel and playing a 16-year-old, and it's just so funny. I love that you got to do it as a teenager.
Oh, so, me too.
Yeah, you're very organic because I'm the actual age.
Exactly. Some of the pouting and the whining was truly genuine.
Yeah. Oh, you don't look a day over 17. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Great to hear it.
Just a little bit about like talk about touring, because a lot of times, I did 2 years of Hairspray, and then I did Grease, Shrek, and Wedding Singer. So I was on the road for 5 years. And tour life is extremely hard. It's very, very hard. Yes. And it's as glamorous that everybody thinks it is. A lot of times, yes, we as actors make it look cooler than it is, but take us through a day, and especially too with Hairspray's itinerary. You guys are doing a lot of one-nighters, which for everybody who's watching, one-nighters is when they roll into a theater, do one show, and leave like the next day.
Right.
Really extremely, very, very hard. But yeah, take us through what a normal day is on the road for you guys right now.
Well, right now it's definitely a lot more different. March is a very busy schedule for us. We've been very lucky the past 2 months where we've had 2-week sit downs and being able to do that. And so once March hit, it was like we're hitting the ground running, living off of the bus. At the beginning of our tour, we flew a lot from places because we were jumping kind of all over the country. But now we're kind of doing like a clean sweep of like the Midwest and now like hitting the South and just kind of moving all together. So we're on the bus all the time. So right now our schedule, I am very happy. We have 2 days here, so we have the day to ourselves here, which is really nice.
Gorgeous too. Welcome to the nice weather.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
And pollen season.
Oh yeah, no, we're feeling it for sure. Yeah. So usually just to like a one-nighter kind of situation, we'll wake up. I mean, I wake up for my like personal schedule. I wake up at around like 8. And I find a local coffee shop, very important to me on tour. That's like my thing. going to find the local coffee, get that going, do a little workout before we sit on the bus for like a really long time. And so we'll be on the bus, and some days are way more energetic than others. Some days all of us are just passed out sleeping. And then I don't know if you know the game Werewolf. Sometimes we'll play the game Werewolf, and then we'll sing and like act crazy on the bus sometimes to get our energy up. But a lot of times for these one-nighters, just like to preserve our energy, to bring that kind of energy onto the stage, we'll just kind of relax and chat, and we'll hopefully make it to the hotel on time to be able to drop off our things around like check-in time around 3 or 4. And then we head over to the theater, have a company meeting, get acquainted with the space, and get rocking and rolling for the show. And then we pack up all of our things and get ready to go the next day to repeat the process all over again.
All over again. Does anybody sleep on the bus floor?
Okay, someone did one time, and people were making fun of them for it because they're like, that's disgusting.
Oh,
and so then no one ever did. I know, but it's honestly a good idea. I have half the mind to do it because right now I'm sleeping in a fetal position on the chair.
I'm gonna change your life. I'm gonna see you in 2 days. I'm gonna change your life because I literally slept, I think, through the entire country because I wrote a book about touring, and there's a whole chapter about how to sleep on a bus floor. All I did was sleep the entire time. And it's so funny because our whole cast, we'd all get in fights about who was the floor sleeper and who's the seat sleeper. It was like,
that's so funny. Well, that makes sense. Kind of like if you like sprawled out across, that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
An egg crate, game changer. We'll talk.
I believe it. Please. All the advice will be taken. We love hearing new techniques for bus sleeping.
Yeah.
It's honestly.
That's the crazy real stuff. What's us with booking Amber? This audition process, my audition process for Amber was a really, really bizarre one, but the normal audition process for booking Hairspray is pretty epic. So like in New York City, especially for this go around, for this tour revival, if you will, they started the audition process years ago before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And the creative team is amazing. Matt Lentz, Lon Hoyt, shout out Jerry Mitchell, the entire amazing team. I know they started working with casting before, and then of course it was like a hard stop with the pandemic. So did you audition in the city? Did you show up at that crazy open call where thousands of people were wrapped around the block?
Oh yeah, I'm one of the open call girls. I know, it's crazy. It's so wild.
You woke up to get there. That was the first goal.
Oh yeah, waking up to get there at a ungodly time, like 3:30 in the morning, because I knew that I wanted to do the show so bad, and I knew that it was going to be crazy, just the talk of it. And it was actually my last in-person audition in the city before the pandemic hit, which is really crazy. So I went to the open singer call, and then did my little ditty, was a part of that whole experience. I've never seen that many people in a space all at once, and it was just such a charged space. It was so cool to see how badly everyone wanted to do the show, and now doing it too, I understand why everyone wants this job so bad, so I feel incredibly grateful, especially through the whole process of how this all came about. And so I got a call back a couple of days after that open call for Amber, and it was supposed to be on St. Patrick's Day. Oh my gosh, wow. It's the anniversary. Wait, that's crazy. It was supposed to be on St. Patrick's Day of 2020, and the shutdown happened on the 13th. So everything became virtual. I sent everything, and I had 2 friends left in the city. And so before we really understood this idea of social distancing, I was like, yeah, I'll film with you guys. We'll go over and film everything. So we filmed that. I sent it off, and I didn't hear anything back until May of 2020. And they're like, hey, just want to let you know, we're still in the process of everything, trying to figure out what's going on with the pandemic, but you're still with us. I'm like, okay, cool. Then July of 2020 rolls around, and they're like, hey, still love you, still want to keep talking.
Haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah, we're still here, but it's going to be until 2021. And so that was kind of tough and heartbreaking, but then but still it was this thing. It was kind of my light at the end of the tunnel also. And so I just could see it in the distance. So the next time I heard from anyone was March of 2021. And they're like, hey, just asking if there's still interest. I'm like, absolutely, of course. So then
you're like, I'm holding on.
I know, I've been holding on. I was like, this is it. So Then through April and May, it was a lot of resending in the same materials just because it is a year later. Things could obviously change. And so I think I did one more self-tape, a Zoom call, then I sent in a dance tape, and then we had a final callback Zoom call with everyone who was still left in the process in June.
Wow.
And so we were like notes and stuff with like, we were working with Lon and Matt and everyone. And then we had our final callback the day right after, at least I did. And then I found out on June 25th of 2021. So it was a year and 3 months. And then we started rehearsals this past October.
That's like, my heart for you is, I mean, way to hang in there. Cause
Thank you.
But because my audition experience, and probably Lon and Matt and Danny Austin, who are set our tour, mine couldn't be more opposite than yours. And it was like, because like I got brought in on a contract. I was like out of town and they were like, hey, can you come in? My agent was like, can you go in? And I was like, I'm in Wisconsin doing Footloose. And so, and this is like, you know, tapings weren't a thing. That's how old I am. Oh my God. No. But so yeah, I was like, okay, I'll be back on Monday morning. They're like, great. They can see you. They're doing some final callbacks Monday night. I got thrown material, knew the show, hadn't done the role. Was like, okay, because it was still on Broadway. I obviously knew it was, I go in there and I find out from the casting director that like the creative team's coming. And I'm like, the who? The what? Like, didn't know. Went in there. Lon made me sing Watch Me Fly 8 times in a row. Matt read me through the sides. Did the dance call with Danny. I was in there hanging with them, fell in love with them, hour and a half. I just was shot out of a cannon and was like, regardless, it was like one of the best auditions, the most fun I'd ever had in a room. And then I ran into Danny Austin on the subway 45 minutes later. And I was with my ex-husband. I was like, that's the choreographer. Oh my, like, it was one of those moments where you're like, do I acknowledge like I just spent 2 hours? So I went over to Danny and I just said, you know what? I just want to say thank you so much for that experience. And he was like, did you get the call? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, oh, honey, you're our Amber. We've been looking for you everywhere. And I was like, what?
Oh my God.
I start sobbing.
On the subway.
Like clapping. I'm crying.
Aww.
So like, it was like, I was like, am I getting punked? Like,
right.
Yeah. I found out like 45 minutes after I left the room. So like, I can't imagine you just being in this like limbo position for like, but you know what though? Worth the wait. Like,
worth the wait.
Worth the wait. Like,
truly. And
that's like your journey. And it's such an awesome story, especially to very few of you are going to be able to share that story because of what we all just went through with the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also too what probably makes your cast really like even more special because you guys went through it together, right?
Definitely. It's a different kind of bond too, because also touring during the pandemic as it's like transitioning, especially with Omicron too, like how everything grew, and we've just had a lot of different changing protocols and whatnot to keep us as safe as possible and everything like that. And of course, it just has its whole other set of trials and tribulations, but it brings us closer. And I'm in love with my cast. They're literally like my family. And I feel like anyone that I talk to that has done Hairspray before, like on touring or on Broadway or anything like that, it's this whole different kind of family feeling that you have with your cast. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And that's like the fun thing and the beauty about this show, and just, you know, just sending love to, you know, Mark and Scott and like everybody who created, like Jerry and everyone who created, you know, Jack O'Brien. It's not just a show; it's a community, and we have like family, and it's like you know, meeting cast who do in Toronto. I mean, I became Facebook friends with the Amber who was playing Amber in Germany, and like would talk back and forth. So it is the beauty, but it's like the minute you meet somebody who's done the show, you're automatically like, I love you. Like, it's
exactly.
Just are.
Me and the Amber who just played Amber on the West End, me and her are buds now. We talk all the time. Like, we've known each other for years.
Yeah, I know. It's like, so awesome.
It's so cool.
What's one of your favorite things about playing this role? Like, what about Amber? Because I feel like even though we've all kind of played her, like everyone's got certain things that they favor within this character. What's some of your favorite stuff?
Well, what's cool about Amber for me too is that
I feel like I can adjust how like I play her on a daily basis, kind of, and just like because she can be sassier one day, or she could be a little bit meaner with like more of a bite one day, and just like, especially since like working with it for, it'll have been 9 months by the time my leg ends, that like I can adjust according to like how I'm feeling as well, and to be able to tell the story as honest as possible. Because, you know, I mean, being the blonde, I don't know if you've had this experience. A lot of times you end up playing the villain, just you're like the quoted villain. But honestly, it's important for us to be a part of the story. And so like I like being able to spend time with Amber, and really just diving into like the really like high energy, like really exciting, like spunky, ferocious kind of energy that she has, but also moments where she is like insecure and vulnerable, and like really playing those as honest as possible, as like silly as some of her lines may be, but like having it come from a really true and honest place is really important to me. Because I mean, she's a real person, you know, she really is. And for us to be able to solicit change in people, and for them to like recognize themselves in these characters, I have to not play it as a character, but just like really play her as honestly as I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, she's not mean.
She's
Like,
not.
she's just kind of misunderstood, and just kind of like just is in her bubble. She doesn't, necessarily know better. So I think it is really amazing to the journey that the Von Tussles go through at the end, that like, you get to be like, I'm not mean. You know?
I'm not mean. I know, exactly. And that's and I feel like that's something that I took away a lot with working with Jack O'Brien too, is just talking about mother-daughter relationships too. I mean, a big thing with Amber is like anything that her mom says goes. And I feel like that's something that maybe a lot of women can like relate to in relationships with their mothers. We want to like, whenever you're young and like impressionable, you want to appease to that. But whenever those opinions are thrust upon you that are maybe not the best opinions in the entire world, where do you start to feel the struggle of like, is what she's saying right? Or can I formulate my own opinions about things? And that's something that I like to toy with throughout the show, and have that arc to where it makes sense to where she goes by the end of the show with Velma. And I have the best Velma in the entire world. I love her so dearly.
Oh, she looks incredible.
She's amazing. And what's great in Georgia, so she's from Alabama, and so these are kind of like hometown shows for her. And last night her whole family came, like her whole hometown came. So it was really special being able to share that moment with her last night on stage. Too.
Special. And you guys got to play Baltimore, right?
We're going to in June. Before the pandemic, we were supposed to open in Baltimore, but now we're almost closing in Baltimore. We're like really close to the end. I'm
just going to let you know, hands down, you're never going to hear an audience so loud in your entire life when that downbeat of that music starts. It's like you're gonna be like you're gonna be Justin Timberlake. Like it's amazing. The audience in Baltimore is like hands down the best audiences in the. But
I believe it.
Audience in Wilmington is gonna bring it. We're gonna stand our own. We're so excited to have you guys, and the Wilson Center is just such a beautiful theater. And for me being a tour brat, I'm so sad that this wasn't built when I was on the road, because now every time someone comes through, I'm always like so jealous. That's why I think I'm just gonna come on stage during the bows. It's fine.
Right. You can just come on and be the older sister Von Tussle. You can just come on.
Oh, janky sister Von Tussle. Look, I got like Velma was embarrassed. I'm gonna come. Oh my! Now see, you got me going. I've got a whole subplot I'm gonna create.
There we go.
Like because she was embarrassed by me, but now I'm back. It's so awesome. So just to wrap you up, because I know you gotta, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh my God.
For Wilson Center and for Wilmington and for me. But we look forward to having you. Have you ever been to Wilmington or the Southeast North Carolina before?
No, I've not been to either one of the Carolinas yet. I went to school in the South, and I've been to other places, but I have not ventured into well, actually, no, wait, I just see it's already, we've gone to so many places already. I already forgot where we were.
They all started to blend together.
We went to North Charleston, right, back in December. So we have been there, but no, I've not been to Wilmington yet, so I'm very excited.
It's a beautiful downtown area, and you guys hopefully you'll be able to get in bus wise and unloading it to do some exploring.
Yeah, I'll take any recommendations. Coffee
Yeah.
shop. This is a big.
I'm your hospitality coordinator. I got your back.
Perfect. Love it.
Awesome. Kaelee, thank you so much for taking the time. You're an absolute delight. And I am going to be a sobbing disaster, like cheering you on this weekend.
Yay! I cannot wait to meet you this weekend, Erin. I'm so excited.
And thank you to everybody who joined in to watch us. Again, Hairspray is playing here at the Wilson Center in beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina this coming weekend. Shows 7:30 p.m. Sunday 2 p.m. and 7:30. Tickets are still available but selling fast, so please check out the website and come see us. Kaelee, thanks again for your time, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye, dear. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.